Good afternoon, Mark Hunter here, the guy with you weekdays 3 until 6. Hope you're having a great day. As you know, we have been talking with faculty and staff at Robinson Community College. Today, I'm joined on the telephone by Dustin Long, who is the Vice President of Information Technology at Robinson Community College. Let's say good afternoon to Dustin. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Well, as we begin, Dustin, we're going to be talking about cybersecurity. And the first question that comes to my mind is, what is cybersecurity?
Well, cybersecurity is the act of protecting computers and networks from digital attacks. But for, just in general, it's much like you put locks on your doors at home to protect against an intruder. There are protections you can do to safeguard yourself from bad actors while surfing the web or purchasing online.
Very good. I'm talking with Dustin Long from Robinson Community College about cybersecurity. And Dustin, why should our listeners be concerned about cybersecurity during the holidays?
Well, during the holidays, there's always a large uptick in cyber crimes. There are people that are trying to impersonate companies to get your money, and as we know, the holiday season is when most people spend the most. The scammers are hitting people at home and trying to take advantage of them through emails or text messages or fraudulent websites. They're really trying to attack the humanity of people with emotional marketing. There's also scams out there where people are trying to duplicate credit cards, cloning them so that they can go and purchase items in your name from various places. And as an example, and IT people are not immune to this. So my wife, who had an accident around the holidays a few years back, she had to have surgery out of town. So we went to go out of town to go to a certain hotel. And as soon as we swiped our credit card was cloned and taken advantage of. So when we sat down and have dinner, we had already had fraudulent charges happening on our credit card. So it can happen just that fast. And also another example, my father, who actually last year got an email from a reputable retail company, and he had an amazing deal on a screwdriver set. Something that he said he had never seen before, and it was the best deal he's ever heard of. So he purchased the screwdriver set, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, nothing showed up, but he started seeing fraudulent charges on his credit card. And what had happened was a bad actor had put a front of that retail provider, an ad page that retail provider had put out on the web and had hid behind it with a fraudulent payment mechanism. So when he went through and did that, his card got compromised, and he was having to go through all the stuff that you do when you get your account locked out.
I'm talking with Dustin Long from Robinson Community College. He's the Vice President of Information Technology. Hearing all of that, is there any way that you can protect yourself online?
So you really have to keep on top of every account that you use. You need to know what you're spending, where you're going online, and where you're shopping from. You need to make sure your credit company has your most recent contact information so that there is an instance where there's a compromised situation, your credit card company would be able to contact you. Another thing is with your passwords. When you're logging into these sites or these pages, you need to make sure that you're using passwords. Now the recommendation is 14 characters with a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. Also refrain in those passwords from using things like family names, your date of birth, and your addresses. And I know sometimes that can get difficult, but those are some of the first things that the bad actors are using to brute force into your account. So do that, and it'll keep your account more secure. Also, if you hear of a agency allowing two-factor or multi-factor authentication, which is basically when you go in to log in, it sends you an additional email to verify you are who you are, or to get a text message for that verification, do that, because that's another way of preventing bad actors from getting into your account. I would say when you're focusing on emails, anytime you receive an email from a company, make sure it is from that company. Check the email address and make sure the name is matching the company that you're thinking you're doing business with. Always check for misspellings in the email, because that is normally a first sign of a scam, is that when you see a misspelling in an email. Are you expecting an email from a retail store? If not, it may not be wise to click on that email. If you get something from a bank, ask yourself, do you do business with the bank? If not, don't open it. So if I've got an account with one bank and I get an email from another, don't open that email. It's probably scam. There's a lot of email scams with bad actors, wanting to say that you owe money to a hospital, or I've got this invoice that you've got to pay. So the first thing you need to do is just ask yourself, do I have anything that I owe when it pertains to what I see. Did I recently go to the doctor or did I recently go to a hospital that would make sense with this? And something that you could always do is if you get something of an email that you don't really know what it is, call the entity on the phone and say, hey, I just recently received this. Can you talk about, what I may owe or what I may not owe? And under no circumstances, if there's any questions, do not provide any kind of credentials when you're clicking on a link that you may not know from your emails. This also plays into text messages. No different than emails. People now with smartphones are almost standard in every household. You're getting text messages with things, and I'll just use an example that's running really crazy right now is from the USPS. You'll get hundreds of text messages saying that, there's not enough details for a package delivery. Typically, the USPS is not going to send these text messages, so those are another example of do not click on those messages when you see those. And the last part is, is when you're shopping online. Shopping online is quick and easy to do. It's right at your back door. So just make sure when you visit a website that it has HTTPS instead of HTTP, especially when you go to make a payment. And the way that you can tell that is if you look in your upper right-hand corner of the address that you went to, you should see the HTTPS:// That is the very first thing you should see. And right beside it will be a lock icon. What this means is any data that you transfer through that portal then will now be encrypted and secure.
Very good information. I'm talking with Dustin Long this afternoon, the Vice President of Information Technology at Robinson Community College. And Dustin, what are the major advantages and disadvantages to shopping online versus shopping at a store in regards to cybersecurity?
Well, honestly, I feel you're just as vulnerable online as you are in the store. It really comes down to numbers. I know there are many more avenues to buy online than in the store, but you just need to be careful either way you do. You need to go to reputable places online. You need to go to reputable stores when you go to buy stuff. But either way, your information can be compromised. So knowing who you're dealing with is very important. Making sure you have the correct credit card information is very important. And, I jokingly say with my family all the time, the only true way to shop and not worry about paying is if you pay in cash, which is really not a reality this day and time. But at the end of the day, just be vigilant. Be aware of what you're doing online. Make sure the device that you're shopping online is up to date, that you're using virus protection, and just stay safe. The holidays are supposed to be fun, and many of the companies out there have IT support teams that are working very hard to ensure your online shopping experience or your in-person shopping experience is safe and secure.
Well, I'm talking with Dustin Long from Robinson Community College, and as we wrap things up, Dustin, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, as we've been talking about, shopping online and doing everything online, I do want to make a note that RCC will have a community Christmas event on December 5th from 10 to 2. We'll have free workshops and a tree lighting ceremony at 5 p.m. So it's also an opportunity to be able to register for classes that start in January, and everybody is invited to attend, so just please come out and shop till you drop over the holidays.
Very good. Well, I've been talking with Dustin Long, Vice President of Information Technology at Robinson Community College. And Dustin, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Mark.